Well, thank you very much, Madam Chairwoman. One of the impressions that I think has to be put on the table is that we've got all these rules and regulations that are preventing people from accessing all these available units that are just sitting out there waiting for occupation. When my impression is, my impression is we have resource constraints which force us to create rules to further essentially distinguish between people simply because we don't have capacity. So the issue here is as much resources as it is the rulemaking. I think we have to, as we've all discussed, we have to make the rules much more inclusive. We have to make the documentation much more accessible to young people, et cetera. But are we facing just a significant constraint on the amount of units that are available to put these young people in?
I think that that's, absolutely true. And I think that I think what I tried to say in my testimony is just that the urgency that we feel on the ground is so large because these are young people whose their childhood is involved here. And so, we have the circumstance where they're coming up against systems that are supposed to be there to help and, are not able for whatever the reason. And that's part of it. It's very hard to, the rules should be easier to manage, and yet they aren't. So what is the reason? It's a very good question.
No, I get it, but there's all this. Well, why did this woman with a young child not get the shelters? Because there's a limited number of facilities that are adapted to, capable of dealing with women with young children. You're not going to put her into a male single facility because they're not prepared for it, et cetera. And if we don't literally put our money where our mouths are and expand the supply, this demand is going up, and you're going to continue to try to do what people do. You make up
Can
rules.
I say one more thing,
yes,
which
ma'am.
is that I think that's absolutely true. I think youth have to become a priority. There has to be priority given in order for them to be able to access these services.
I agree.
To access
but
whatever.
we also have to be very realistic and say, as they become a priority with limited resources, other people lose out who previously have. I mean, unless we can put in resources.
Speak to that, sir.
And, Senator Collins and I are confronting this issue of sequestration where the resources could be constrained so severely that, it gets even harder and harder to respond. But I think that's a point that I wanted to get out on the table. But one final question to Ms. Lauper. We were speaking last night, and one of the things that impressed me, among many things, was the notion of permanent connections, that the transition from homelessness is not just a facility and a place to stay for a while, but it's making a connection with somebody that can mentor you, that can give you that sort of push. And I think, Brittany, you probably have the same experience. So Cyndi and then Brittany, and then I have one other thing to do.
Well, you have to have stability to continue, otherwise it's a revolving door. Some kids, because they're all different, they need a little longer-term care, which is something that Jennifer was addressing. And I know that there are limited sources. I mean, that's what's been boggling my mind now, how to get more sources and how to spread out and keep making connections to bring more people together to fix it. Because short-term care is just a revolving door. Long-term care and people that they can call. They need somebody to call and talk to. Just like, and I hate to make this analogy because I don't want to make everybody crazy, but just like if you were sick or you had, let's say you had cancer, well, wouldn't you call a cancer survivor to help you survive, right? I mean, or alcoholics, they have a sponsor. You always, if you're in trouble, you need a sponsor, and sometimes it's not your parent.
Brittany, do you have a comment?
What I liked about New Beginnings is it wasn't just a place to stay. It wasn't, here's your place and that's all. They helped me with a lot of resources because I was not completely sheltered, but I was like, bus system, what's that? Insurance, how do I get that? Because growing up, I didn't have insurance either. So not just the here's your place, but they also offered to help. And then Victor with the one-on-one support, like helping me with what I needed, including college and everything, was very helpful as well.
Thanks very much. I want to thank the chairwoman for this and the panel. Extraordinary testimony. Thank you very, very much.